The form guide says this is a one-horse race. The Wellington Phoenix have not lost in their last 18 games here at Westpac Stadium, and they've won the last 4 of 5 against their opponents today. By contrast, the Newcastle Jets haven't won for 5 weeks. 4 regular season losses were followed by a draw and a subsequent penalty shootout victory over the Gold Coast. And to make matters worse, on their last 2 visits here to Wellington, Newcastle have gone home beaten 3-0 on both occasions. Today, though, was a day for statistics to be put aside and records to be broken. Today, it's sudden death football in the Hyundai A-League. Good afternoon to all of our audience here in New Zealand, across Australia on Fox Sport. Welcome to Westpac Stadium in Wellington on this historic day, as a record sellout crowd of 35,000 awaits the Phoenix and the Jets. It's a contest that simply has no second prize. Well, let's see what Branko Kalina has done with his side. There is one change. Kantarovski comes back into the side. Haliti misses out. That changes the shape of the team. They're going to line up in what looks to be a 4-5-1 formation, but that could change through the game. Their inspirational skipper, Matty Thompson, with each game he plays, he knows that he's close to the end of his Jets career. He'll be heading away to the Melbourne Heart next season. 120 games for Matt Thompson, and of course he was immediately put on the bench mid-season when he announced the move away, but he's proven indispensable to Branko Kalina's side. 7 goals out of midfield. The fans await the entry of our 2 sides, and here they come, the Jets and the Phoenix, on a picture-perfect day here in Wellington. So the 2 sides come out, and big Lubo Milicevic will be one of the key performers. There he is, 1.93 metres tall. He needs to be big in stature and big in terms of his presence for his teammates as much as anything else today. Well, Ricki Herbert has also made a change to the Wellington Phoenix side, and it is an enforced change. John McCain, of course, is out suspended. He is replaced by Ben Sigmund at the back. Otherwise, it's a familiar 4-3-3 formation. And they're anchored, of course, by this inspirational keeper, Liam Reddy. Since his arrival at the Phoenix from Brisbane, has been in wonderful form. And tonight, Reddy plays his 100th Hyundai A-League game. There's been a lot of talk during the week as well about returning internationals. And there is Tim Brown, 7 goals out of midfield. But how much has that game and the journey back from LA taken out of the likes of Brown, Lockhead, Bertos and Sigmund? Joining me in commentary is former All-White Fred de Jong. And Fred, surely 35,000 home fans overcomes any jet lag.
Yes, definitely, for the especially for the All-White contingent coming back. You know, you'd expect that they'd be just full of adrenaline here this afternoon in front of such a huge crowd. And I think only if it goes into extra time will you see that that may play a factor this afternoon.
Well, certainly one thing that won't have an impact in a negative sense anyway is the weather, because just look at this. It is perfect in Wellington today. The predicted bad weather has not eventuated. It will be very warm, and I would dare suggest at pitch level in this cauldron of a stadium, it'll be a little warmer even than the 22 degrees that we're showing. On the bench, well, it's attack, attack, attack. Diego, Daniel, Daddy, Barbarouses, not a defender in sight. Reece Crowther is the backup keeper for Ricki Herbert's side. And still plenty of attacking firepower on hand for Branko Kalina as well, with Petrovski, Haliti. They'll be expected to perhaps come on in the final 20 minutes, half an hour, if Newcastle are looking for an attacking spark. The officials going through pre-match routine. Chris Beath is the referee today. The young referee quickly gaining vital experience at this level of the game, and the fans are just loving this type of experience in Wellington. We're taken back to November 14 when the All Whites defeated Bahrain in front of a capacity crowd. Well, this was sold out a week ago. Matt Thompson, what a loyal servant. More than that, what an inspirational player he's been for Newcastle over the years, Matt Thompson.
Yeah, he's the heart and soul of this side for Newcastle, isn't he? You know, he's the driving force in the heart of that midfield. And I mean, I think it's important that Matty Thompson has a great game today for the hopes of Newcastle.
And they'll need his goals too. Paul Eiffel They'll be looking for his goals. There's Matty Thompson. 7 goals out of midfield. And it looks as though the home side will have first use of possession, and they will play away from the Yellow Fever, who will be behind Liam Reddy's goal in the opening 45 minutes. The minor semi-final in the Hyundai A-League. The winner goes on to play the loser of Sydney and Melbourne. That's coming up later tonight. The loser, well, as I indicated earlier, they can think about their off-season holiday, perhaps a nice pristine beach somewhere in the Pacific Islands. For now, though, it is all business. Paul Eiffel, an early touch. And Lockhead too. That's good signs for the Phoenix, with Lockhead getting forward. Dangerous ball to the far post, and Newcastle deal with it, but good early pressure from the Phoenix.
Great start from the Phoenix. Good to see Tony Lockhead being so positive, getting forward. Just a teasing cross to the back post. And also good to see Paul Eiffel getting on the ball early as well.
Set piece opportunity, Bertos delivers. It's not bad. Oh, off the line. Still there, but the Phoenix can't scramble at home. Another opportunity, and Bertos this time, the radar is a little askew. But a combination of Kennedy, and I'm not sure which Newcastle defender, but Fred, that was more good luck than good management that Newcastle find themselves still in the game.
Almost a perfect start for the Wellington Phoenix. Almost, as you say, just a combination of a couple of players doing well on the line, keeping the ball out. But so far, Newcastle haven't hardly touched the ball.
Well, just the start to not only keep the crowd in the game, but set them alight early. Eiffel has possession. Muscat went down off the ball. Harefields. Oh, lovely step over. Lovely work, Harefields. Is the cross as good? No. And Kandarovski will be pleased just to see this away from the danger area, and credit Newcastle. They've done this well. Good composure. Tarek Elrich, a chance for Newcastle to press, and there's too much on that. The offside trap couldn't be beaten. But Branko Kalina's done all the talking about playing an attacking brand of football, but the opening 90 seconds, Fred, all the Phoenix.
Yes, and the ball by Abbas cleared off the line there. I think one from one of his own players, but from both flanks, the Phoenix looking very positive and very threatening. Tony Lockhead down one side, and Troy Harefield, a beautiful piece of skill, in and out to beat his man, and just the cross lacked a bit of conviction.
Milicevic will have to direct traffic, and direct a little better than they've started. Troy Harefield, I think, still ruining the lack of a cross after his good initial build-up work. Muscat. Greenacre couldn't get around the much larger figure of Lubo Milicevic.
Andrew, I think we've seen both flanks for the Phoenix already, and I think that's where they can win the game. I think the formation and the style of play for Newcastle, they'll be looking to keep the game very narrow, and I think if the Phoenix can get Paul Eiffel on one flank, Harefield getting forward on the other, that's where the danger is from the Phoenix.
Well, at this stage of the season, these statistics do tell a picture, and on that note, the Phoenix, the number 1 side in the league for delivery into the penalty area. Newcastle, Fred, they're second last in that regard, so they do like to perhaps be a little more central.
Yes, they do, and again, the formation that Kalina's put out today, it's almost like a very compact 3-5-2, and with the inclusion of Kantarovski just sitting in front of the back three. So yeah, I think for the Phoenix, it's a matter of maybe drawing Newcastle to one side of the field, then a quick switch of play, get players like Eiffel, Harefield one-on-one with their opponent. We've seen them already in the first few minutes. Get some mileage out of that.
Oh, sorry, Fred, as I interrupted you, Topol Stanley interrupted Kantarovski, and they went on the same page, and it has been a shaky start for the Novocastrians. Shot from distance. I was hopeful, shall we describe it. I think that's about as kind as we can be from Rooney.
But also interesting to see how far forward Matty Thompson got that time. You know, he was the one that's knocking the ball back to Rooney. You'd expect it to be the other way around, but Matt Thompson is trying to get forward at every opportunity this afternoon.
Yes, well, I must admit, not surprised that Kandarovski's been brought back into the side, the 18-year-old, but perhaps a little surprised that Haliti was the player to make way.
Well, I think that just shows the mindset that Branko Kleen has come into the game with. I think he'll be more than happy just keeping the score 0-0 for as long as possible. And when you look at the number of goals that Newcastle have conceded this season, I think they're second worst in the A-League. And so defence is where their problems lie in the main.
Eiffel, good scrambling work from the very attack-minded midfielder. And he's in there again. There's plenty of bustle from an unlikely source, and that's misdirected. Leo Bertos perhaps better advised to open out to the Phoenix left wing side. Initially well done and kept in play from Ali Abbas, but the second touch was the one to let him down. Good strong work by Manny Muscat, and I'll tell you what, that's a pretty testing ball. Topper Stanley will get there first, but Bertos is a willing chaser, and Kennedy, well, I don't know that I was the only one holding breath for a moment or two there. Flag stays down. That's good work by Topper Stanley. It was an awkward touch to finish, Fred, but let's credit the central defender with initially being very strong.
Well, he did well to get goal side. I think he got caught out of position. Chris Greenacre was between him and his own goal, but he did very well to get goal side, even though he has given away a corner. It could have been much, much more dangerous than that.
So Bertos, they were close with their first corner of the game. Are they closer with the second? Looking for Brown. I think that's another corner, is it? Or has it come off Tim Brown? Tim Brown's ruled to have had the last touch on that one, so Kennedy with the goal kick.
Yes, this time the ball towards the penalty spot. Tim Brown gets up. No real power on the header and just slides away. But I think also, you know, we're coming up to 10 minutes, and today for the Phoenix, patience will be the key for them. I think they will dominate possession today. And I think if they can just hold on to the ball for long passages and run this Newcastle side round, they'll do very well. Because Newcastle will be trying to hit them on the counter-attack. We've seen it already, a few long balls from Newcastle. So if the Phoenix can dominate the ball on the ground, I think they can come out on top.
Ben Sigmund, good interception. Showing no signs, no ill effects of the playing journey. Here's Eiffel now, the traditional, the trademark cut back. But Tarek Elrich clearly has been watching the tapes. That was a very good tackle from the fullback.
And a good ball from Vince Leah to find Paul Eiffel. Exactly what you want. Crossfield pass, get him one-on-one, and let him run at his defender.
Well, certainly Tarek Elrich is an opponent that will have the equal measure of Paul Eiffel in terms of pace today. That won't be an issue for Elrich. Talking pace, Bertos. That's not bad, but the run to the far post. I think Paul Eiffel, Fred, just still struggling from the initial challenge from Tarek Elrich moments ago.
Yes, he was, because you'd expect Paul Eiffel to be on the end of that. Well, that's his job anyway.
They force another corner, so it's the Phoenix dominating the opening exchanges. This won't be too dramatic in terms of temperature for Newcastle, given the Australian climates. But I do think in a match with the tension that this one has, that both sides might feel this in the last 20 minutes or so. It is very warm. Bertos, near post this time. Kennedy punches well. Opportunity for Harefield to line it up. Eiffel can't find the room. Into the area. The top of Stanley did really well.
Just overplaying a bit, Paul Eiffel. Just couldn't get the ball in a position to hit it. I think the ball that got laid off to him needed to be just slightly softer, and he had to hit it, so he could take it first time. But as soon as he controlled it, the defence was on top of him. But that's the norm when teams come across here to play Paul Eiffel.
I'll tell you what though, Fred, Paul Eiffel's had, you might argue, more influential touches today than he had in the entire match against Perth.
Yes, I think he was disappointed with the way he played against Perth. Didn't really get in the game as much as he would like, and he'll be hoping to make amends this afternoon.
Wheelhouse loses out. Manny Muscat and Bertos surrounded. Oh, that's dangerous. Now a chance on the break. They've got numbers forward. Brown, he's taken too long and bustled off the ball. Nothing given from Chris Beath, and it looked to be a very good challenge. Again, the Phoenix with numbers. Far post, surely. And Muscat knows it. That's dangerous too, and Kennedy can't get there and is grateful that there wasn't a Phoenix player lurking.
Two golden opportunities there for the Phoenix, especially the first one. 2v1 at the back, and Tim Brown just dwelling too long on the ball, and it was a good tackle from behind. Here is Tim Brown. Needed to play the ball, probably either his first or second touch. Nothing wrong with that challenge.
Kandarovski, I think it was, Fred. Good tracking from the youngster. Flag is up. And the Thompson touch was exquisite. Unfortunately, Rooney had just drifted offside. It has been an issue for the Newcastle Jets this season. That is the productivity of their strikers. And with Michael Bridges not there, Fred, you just wonder where the goals might be coming from. The most dangerous, of course, is Matt Thompson out of midfield with 7, albeit he is playing in a more advanced role here this afternoon.
Yes, and also with Labano Halidi not on the pitch, he's another one of their main contributors in the goal-scoring stakes. So it has been their Achilles heel. I think that gives the Phoenix as well the freedom to push other players forward into attack, knowing that they're up against a team that hasn't scored a lot of goals and hasn't got a lot of confidence in front of goal. And you've seen it. We've seen it already in the first 13, 14 minutes. Liam Reedy hasn't touched the ball yet.
Troy Harefield with space. Troy Harefield's. Don't know that was going to trouble Kennedy in goal, but the Phoenix still have possession, or do they? Tony Lockheed just scrambles it out of play.
But again, that's where the Phoenix have to be patient. They've got the Newcastle team camped back in their own 18-yard box almost, and they just shouldn't allow them out of their half. You can see there, 66, close to 70-30 possession, and time in the opposition half. should I say, and they really have to just keep that pressure on.
Well, the fans have certainly started this one in good voice, and they are standing right now around the stadium in support of their side. Bertos wins the free kick, Leo Bertos, and Chris Beath wants a word here with Tarek Elrich. And they can ill afford for the likes of Elrich or Dapuzzo to go into the book early. It's bad enough having the likes of Bertos and Eiffel run at you all day, Fred. You don't want to do so with a yellow card already to your name.
No, Leo Bertos here, and you can see there Elrich just getting his arm across and holding Bertos back.
Eiffel. Wheelhouse, just a bit of head tennis here at the moment. Milicevic too strong for Paul Eiffel. That pass may well be too strong for Rooney, is it? Sigmund does well just to shadow the ball across the byline. Ben Sigmund, of course, started the season as a regular with Ricki Herbert in the heart of this Phoenix defence, alongside Andrew Durante, who has played every minute of every game. But then the short arm jab against the victory, and Sigmund lost his place to John McCain, but McCain out suspended himself and Sigmund gets his chance. The whistle's gone here for perhaps an earlier challenge, so it didn't look to be too much harm in Tim Brown's approach here, Fred.
The ball goes over the top of Stanley. The elbow up from Chris Greenacre. You can see there Stanley not happy. But then in the subsequent challenge, Lubo Milicevic got his foot very high against Leo Bertos. A couple of words spoken there.
Are you sure Nikolai wasn't happy there, Fred? Sending a message to the referee, wasn't he?
The referee's doing a good job so far, I think. He's letting some pretty, challenges that you'd say were borderline, just letting them go, allowing the players to sort of work out the level of the physicality of the challenges they can get away with.
There's Thompson, a touch for Song, pushing the back from Lockheed, and that was foolish because really Song was beaten by the Thompson pass and was going nowhere, so this will put the Phoenix under some pressure.
And the first time they will have been under pressure, and the first time you'll see the likes of Milicevic, Stanley go forward, and I think this is one area where Newcastle will be pinning a lot of their hopes. Set plays and putting the ball into the penalty area, because this will be the first time they'll have been able to do that.
Yes, the targets are the obvious ones that you've mentioned, Fred, and let's see how good the delivery is from Ali Abbas. Milicevic is perhaps the number one of that target. No, it's gone near post. That's not good. It's a coach killer, that. Elrich, here they come though. Ali Abbas this time on the right foot. Will he check back? He didn't want to deliver, did he, with the right peg? He's won a corner though for his side, but perhaps the early cross might have been the better course of action.
Oh, that's criminal. That's criminal. You've got all your players forward. You've caught the opposition out, and then you don't deliver.
Here's the corner. And here comes Reddy. Good punch. All the better because it landed on the head of Leo Bertos. Song. Oh, Kandarovski. Just for a moment hoping the flag hadn't gone up, but even from this distance, clearly the ball had crossed the line. So Newcastle certainly have withstood that early onslaught from the Phoenix and just settling into their work. And they'll be helped by that miscued clearance from Troy Harefield. A chance in the penalty area, strike on goal, and it is a goal! What a strike from Matt Thompson! And 35,000 here at Westpac Stadium are silenced. The Newcastle Jets have an unlikely lead, but it's from a very likely source.
First time they've got into the penalty area, and Matt Thompson on the end of it. And just a pure lack of concentration by the Wellington Phoenix. And the Newcastle Jets have made them pay. That was a simple throw-in. The ball just dropped in behind the defence. And it was a great finish, though. Ball cleared away from Ben Sigmund. And here, ball over the top. No one picks up Thompson. And that's a clinical finish.
So the early goal that we've spoken about with regards to the impact on the game, the crowd, the teams, it's come the way of Newcastle skipper Matt Thompson. Topple Stanley under pressure. Brown's pinched it. Brown shoots. Perhaps should have gone square to Leah. Now Leah gets a touch. And it's well wide.
So here's the goal again. Matt Thompson from behind the goal. Liam Reddy, no chance with that one. Beautiful left foot strike into the roof of the net. But lack of concentration from the Phoenix defence. They've had all the play so far, and then the one time Newcastle get forward, they've let them in.
Thompson again looking for the run of Rooney. Reddy's got to be on his toes. He is. Lockhead asking plenty of Greenacre. He's always second favourite here, pushing the back. And the goal kick, and perhaps the fair result there, because Greenacre certainly giving Tarek Elrich some assistance. Well, certainly working out the way that that man had planned, I'm sure.
I think it's all gone according to script for Newcastle, hasn't it? Soak up the early pressure, try and nick a goal. And that's exactly what's panned out. And now for the Phoenix, important they just get possession and hold on to it.
Early ball is too close to Kennedy.
There is a danger here. The Phoenix almost start to panic and try and play the ball, as we've seen, just too long, too quick, and that'll play right into the hands of a pretty defensive-minded Newcastle outfit.
Well, Matt Thompson so far has been more than a handful playing in this advanced role. It could yet prove to be the master stroke from Branko Kalina. Harefield and Bertos exchanging passes. Now the switch of play. The skipper advances. Oh, Muscat, lovely touch. Manny Muscat. Oh, save Kennedy. Well, that was just sublime from Manny Muscat. And surely he was favourite to score.
Beautiful touch from Muscat to get in the box. But the finish, you really had to, as you say, back him as favourite in that time. But as we saw against Gold Coast United, Ben Kennedy between the sticks is a very, very difficult man to get the ball past.
Certainly it helps the fans find their collective voice again. Remember that this is an 18-match unbeaten run here in Wellington that the Phoenix are defending. Greenacre draws the foul out of Milicevic on that occasion.
There's a ball from Durante. Look at this touch from Muscat. Beautiful around the defender. And he's done well to drill that hard and low, but Kennedy's done better. Spread his body wide, trapped the ball with his leg, and then gratefully grabs it with his hands. Good save from the big keeper.
Yes, on replay, Manny Muscat might think he goes low to the near post, but let's credit the keeper because it was a very good save under pressure. wins the duel with Song. Nice touch from Wheelhouse. Rooney with his back to goal, and Sigmund. Well, then they stand about the Phoenix. A little bit guilty of ball watching at times. Bertos has to go backwards before he can go forwards. Leah. Well, perhaps the crowd weren't too far off in their summation of that, Fred, because it was a good early ball from Leah. Perhaps the reaction again of Paul Eiffel just a little lacking.
I think it was too early, wasn't it? Caught everyone napping. And it was a good cross though. Had someone been aware.
Muscat with room to advance. Gets the shirt tug there from Matty Thompson. And Thompson again throwing himself about, so Chris Beath might have a word with the skipper as he goes past. That's awful from Leah. And now a chance on the break for Newcastle. Elrich on the right. Leah's made up for it, hasn't he? Good challenge. Well, Troy Hairfield's suggesting he really didn't make any contact, and I think Troy Hairfield has a case here, Fred.
You can just see the way the guy goes down, can't you? It's the big fling with the upper body, and if you get hit, you don't fall like that. You just sort of tend to drop to the ground. So he's got one over Chris Beath that time.
Can they get another over the Phoenix, though, and capitalise on the situation? Song, and it's the man that won the free kick, Ali Abbas, on the ball. It's a long way, you would think, for a direct strike at goal, but we've seen the spectacular here before at Westpac Stadium, not on that occasion. Top of Stanley. The flag stayed down. Already was alert. Oh, lovely work, Eiffel. Needs support. Bertos. Again, the crowd look to lift the Phoenix. And Vince Leah is clipped. And wins a free kick, almost identical in situation, but they take it quickly, the Phoenix. Muscat gets another touch. Couldn't keep it down, neither can Bertos. Hairfield, great work. Hairfield's on the cross again, not for the first time today. The cross letting the Phoenix down.
I think that's where the Phoenix can get a lot of mileage down their right flank and put real pressure on Adam Depuzzo. Every time they've gone down that side, someone's got past the defender. This time it was Ali Abbas they went round, but there's a lot of space down that side. So I think if the Phoenix can get the ball down and open up that or expose that there, the left-hand side of this Newcastle Jets side, may be able to get themselves back into the game.
So Matt Thompson's goal separates the two sides. Greenacre looking to roll Topple Stanley. Well, Ali Abbas, not for the first time, in the opinion of Vince Leah, hitting the deck just a little too easily. And Vince Leah, well, they want to carry it on, don't they, the conversation. Chris Beath says, I'll take control.
Well, again, he goes down very, very easily, doesn't he? I think Vince Leah's got a point there. You know, Abbas had lost the ball, and so he hits the deck. And again, the referee's sort of given him the benefit of the doubt.
Equally, the Phoenix, though, have got to maintain discipline and make sure that they don't become distracted, as I'm sure they're already a little distracted by that scoreline. Milicevic. Well, looked to be a touch off the big central defender, Fred. I'm not sure.
No, I think the referee got that exactly right. I think Chris Greenacre's put his foot out and it's come off the striker. I think that's an area of a bit of concern for the Phoenix, and that Chris Greenacre's getting no change out of Milicevic and Topol Stanley. He's battling away up there on his own.
Oh, and another free kick, and Tim Brown says, "I got the ball, sir." So the Phoenix, I think they are getting a little rattled here. I think Newcastle might have a case here that Tim Brown does clip the heels as he goes in for the challenge.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you've got to get the ball completely cleanly. This time it's against Adam Dapuzzo. So, you know, the tackle from behind, you have to be just right on target, and he wasn't. And so, yes, frustration from the Phoenix. And I think that's borne out by the scoreline.
Well, Thompson lining this up from Leo Bertos territory and straight into the wall. Song well shielded away by Tony Lockheed. And Fred, I'm not sure about the approach there from Reddy. Greenacre's up against Milicevic, Topol Stanley, and he goes long.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of the fact that the Phoenix are under a bit of pressure here, and they're starting to panic. There's a long time left in the game. There's over an hour, so I think it's just a matter of just cool heads for the Phoenix, especially going into half-time. They just have to, as I say, get the ball down, maintain possession, work themselves back into the game, and just not hope for this one-off beautiful pass.
Bertos. 3 in the penalty area, and the ball isn't delivered. Leo Bertos ignores the run of Vince Leah. Into the area they go. Greenacre, Milicevic all over the back of Greenacre. Greenacre, it's not bad. Eiffel wasn't on target. There's still a chance, and they've scored, and it's Tim Brown. Tim Brown, as he has done so often through the season, lurking with intent. This time not with the head, it's with the left foot. And Newcastle might feel that they didn't clear their lines, and Tim Brown capitalises.
Great work from Chris Greenacre. Paul Eiffel gets 2 bites at this one. And look at this for a pass. That's awareness for you in the box. A lot of players would have hit the second one as well. Good work from Greenacre. Gets the better of Milicevic. Topol Stanley can't get it away. And then Tim Brown, that's a beautiful finish as well. We saw one from Matty Thompson. That one's equally as good from Tim Brown. Left foot, no chance for keeper.
Well, it's a battle of the midfielders, and they both take their season tally to 8 goals. Jet lag? What jet lag? There's just another indication, though, Fred, that the Phoenix don't look their usual assured self at the back. And so they'll be delighted that they're back on level terms. Oh, Lockheed, that is cynical stuff. And Dapuzzo can hardly have cause for complaint that he gets a yellow card. Fred, that is crazy.
I don't know what Matty Thompson's worried going to the referee about. That was a dead set yellow card, just lashing out by Dapuzzo. He's been beaten by Lockheed here and just whacks him.
Goodness me, we talk about players being rattled. There's the face of a rattled player.
Well, Ricki Herbert just taking a seat there. He'll be very, very happy now. His side showing a lot of character to come back, get themselves back on level terms, and now hopefully they can go on with the job.
Eiffel surrounded, looking for support. Oh, he's going to try and beat them all, is he? Oh, and then he wins the physical stoush as well. Eiffel, that's dangerous, just needed a touch.
Paul Eiffel showing his ability to beat 1 and 2 players that time. Shot from a difficult angle, but it needed a runner.
Tim Brown buzzing in midfield. But here is, again, it's trademark, the cut back onto the right foot.
Just needed to angle his shot towards the back post that time. There were a couple of players sort of lurking on the edge of the 6-yard box. Tim Brown was getting there, as he does out of midfield. Again, what can you say? Tim Brown works so hard for his side, and you can see him getting just reward for all that effort and the goals that he's scoring.
Well, give or take a little, it's a goal every third game out of midfield, and that is world class by any standard.
Well, strikers are happy with that ratio, let alone midfielders.
Thompson's pinched it from Eiffel. Thompson on the break. The Phoenix have got numbers. Thompson will fancy his chances to get around all of them. It's about the only course of action he was left with, and it was a task too big.
But I think, Andrew, you mentioned the defence looking a bit rattled or not as organised, and I think that is a hole that John McCain leaves in this team. He's suspended this afternoon, but the combination of McCain and Durante has been so strong over the last half of the season that I think it will take a little bit of time for Ben Sigmund here and Durante to adjust.
There is Sigmund with a long delivery. I'm not sure that that's in the game plan, to be fair, because in Topol Stanley and Lubo Milicevic, probably the two biggest, certainly the biggest pairing of central defenders perhaps in the league, Fred. And Greenacre not going to get much change as Durante, just to make your point, uncharacteristic, giving the ball away.
How many times was that, Troy? I think he says that's the 4th time. Troy Harefield just trying to shield the ball. Ali Abbas over-energetic. But I think the long ball into Chris Greenacre, as you say, Andrew.
Into the penalty area, Topper Stanley does well.
Isn't the ball that's going to give you the most mileage. And the Phoenix have looked good, especially when they've played through the likes of Leah, and Manny Muscat getting forward has been a good option for them in recent weeks.
Right, incredible space for Brown. Newcastle have done well just to slow this attack down. Bertos wants to pick the speed up again. Well, Bertos wins the free kick. And again, there's been a quite incredible change in this game in the last 3 minutes since the goal. Suddenly now it's Newcastle flying in with some pretty poor challenges, and Bertos, let's be fair, perhaps he's making the most of that as well, Fred.
Yeah, I think tit for tat this time. Ali Abbas sticks his foot in. Leo Bertos, a few histrionics, wins the free kick in a very, very dangerous position for the Phoenix. And again, look at those possessions, 70-30 in Wellington's favour. They have to make this possession stat count.
Dangerous position. Leo Bertos can drop this into no man's land in front of Kennedy. Penalty spotted. Is Brown! Oh, he should have done better, Tim Brown.
He'll be disappointed with that, Tim Brown. Again, gets himself in a great position. Checks off here. See there to number 6. And that's a free header on the 6-yard box. You can see Ben Kennedy looking at his defence with his arms outstretched. Come on, you can't leave a guy like Tim Brown with that much space on the edge of the box. Brown probably should have made them pay for that.
Now Brown again. But Newcastle able to cover, and I'll tell you what, Kandarowski had to be there. Yes, well, without being unkind to Tim Brown about his ability with the ball at feet, that was more the chance you'd expect him to finish with the head. Perhaps even more so than the left foot drive that he has scored with. Lockhead, that's a little lazy really, looking for the nutmeg. Wheelhouse. Abbas starting to get to the razz from the crowd. Rooney. Sigmund in close attendance. Does well, Ben Sigmund. And Rooney, frustration.
Good defending from Ben Sigmund. Just ran Rooney into the corner. Didn't have to dive in. Just made him run out of room, basically. As you can see how Newcastle is setting up. Just trying to play on the quick counter-attack. And so important for the Phoenix just to maintain concentration when they do come forward quickly.
Durante back covering this time. And Liam Reddy was alert to the danger.
Because to their credit, Newcastle, when they have broken quickly, they're getting numbers forward. They're getting 3 or 4 players forward. Just that final pass at the moment not sticking for them.
It's a good touch from Rooney, able to turn. That's a better pass. Song. 3 in the box to aim at for Song. Song pulls it back. Just an inch or 2 away from number 2 for Thompson. And the Phoenix now able to quell the danger. And they might turn this into profit themselves. Here's Bertos. Eiffel, the overlapping run came from Tony Lockhead, and now the Phoenix going to be exposed. Well, not with that sort of a pass. Thompson collects, and that's intelligent play from the skipper. Ali Abbas, Elrich overlapping, Elrich through onside, Elrich 1-on-1, Elrich against Reddy, great save Liam Reddy.
Caught 2 minds, wasn't he? Tariq Elrich didn't want to hit it with his left, pulled the ball back onto his right, but this is a great counter-attack again. Could have been anyone, a number of a couple of players that could have taken that. Elrich 1-on-1 with Reddy, and Reddy comes out on top because he just held his ground.
And Slia looks to roll a pass, and Milicevic had seen the danger.
They're trying to force it, aren't they, the Phoenix in there?
Ali Abbas, look at the turn of speed. And that's an intelligent ball. Rooney brought into play. I'll tell you what, this is end-to-end stuff for a minor semi-final. Tradition and history will tell you that these playoff games do not produce many goals. The most popular scoreline is 1-0. We're already beyond that. And Fred, every indication there are more goals here in Wellington this afternoon.
So I think the Phoenix are guilty of throwing too many players forward and not being composed enough at the back. They're allowing Newcastle to break freely and quickly with numbers. And Newcastle are doing that very, very well. Their transition from defence into attack has been excellent, especially over the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Get in the line!
You saw that one-on-one opportunity that Elrich just had, but the one before that, Matty Thompson with the ball from Song across the box. I think he's actually stepped over the ball, and from his reaction as well, just threw his head in the air, Matty Thompson, because he knew that could have been number 2.
Well, Wheelhouse has collected Tim Brown. Chris Beats says play on, play advantage, but we might hear more about that in a moment or two. Bertos. Muscat.
Yeah, that's a good run for Matty Muscat, and he needed someone to come out of the forward line and help him. Both Greenacre and I think it was Leo Bertos turned their backs and were looking for the through ball. Someone had to come for the 1-2 for him.
searching pass from Harefields. The search can only find Tarek Elrich, but look at the determination from Eiffel. Leah. Seconds ticking by towards half-time. And I think we're going to see a card here. We are. So Chris Beath has waited for the first stoppage in play, and Jobe Wheelhouse cops a yellow card. So proof there that referee Chris Beath has a pretty good memory.
He's a good piece of refereeing that. No complaints from Wheelhouse, because it was a pretty robust challenge from behind.
So 1 minute of time to be added, and perhaps 1 minute from now, given the booking's taken up 20 seconds. Harefield turns into trouble.
There was so much space on the right-hand side for Leo Burtos that time.
Look at the threat on the break. Durante's got to be quick. Abbas is over. Not over as in falling, but over as in onto the end of the through ball. They've certainly got the pace to threaten Phoenix, and this is going to be a very hotly contested second half of football. And that's where we're headed into the second half. They can't be separated through the opening 45 minutes in this minor semi-final in the Hyundai A-League. Matty Thompson got the opener, his 8th of the season, but Tim Brown wasn't to be upstaged by his opposite, because Brown, with the left foot drive, scoring his 8th. It's 1-1 at half-time between the Phoenix and the Jets.
Stage. It is 1-1 between the Phoenix and the Jets, and Branko Kalina letting his troops know what they need to do in the second half. Ben Sigmund getting a bit of a rub down. I'm sure those legs fairly tired after travelling all the way back from Los Angeles in his all-whites fixture against Mexico, but putting in a fantastic first half performance for the Wellington Phoenix. They started with a hiss and a roar, the home side, Harry Nada.
Yeah, they did very well. That first corner from Leo Burdos nearly brought about the first goal, and it'd be interesting to see if the ball actually did cross the line. But it's been end to end since then. I think both teams have really attacked each other, particularly Newcastle on the break. Soaked up a bit of pressure using the pace of Abbas out wide, and Sean Rooney have got in behind the Phoenix defence on a couple of occasions.
Eric, to steal a basketball term, that transition offence, in other words, the transition from defence to offence for Newcastle has been outstanding.
It has been. I think look at Matt Thompson has been probably an integral part of that as well. I think getting forward, getting in good positions, and just dragging a few of the Phoenix defenders out of space.
It was the Wellington Phoenix with the first opportunity. Just 1 minute into the match, Leo Burdos, a trademark Leo Burdos corner. Ben Sigmund, fantastic header, and cleared off the line. Yeah,
a great start. Great header from Ben Sigmund. I think it was De Putso on the line, but it looks of things that managed to clear that, scramble that one away. And then this is the goal. A relatively clearance from Ben Sigmund. Just falling asleep there, Dennis, I think. Ben Sigmund and Andrew Durante letting in Matty Thompson. A player of his calibre can finish from that sort of angle.
He definitely can. He took his opportunity well. Manny Muscat, fantastic skill here. And Ben Kennedy showing why he is so good between the sticks for the Newcastle Jets.
Yeah, this was the goal. Great sort of awareness from Paul Eiffel. And that's not an easy shot to finish with. Tim Brown on the volley. Player running at you 7 yards out on his weaker left side, and he slotted that one nicely.
Very much a snapshot there from Tim Brown, and a fantastic finish. Used to seeing him head it just like that.
He's had a good first half, hasn't he, Tim Brown? He's been amongst everything the Phoenix have pushed forward. And here we go, Tarek Elrich, all the time in the world. He had Sean Rooney to his left. He had a couple of players getting back to try and defend the goal. And in the end, it was let that man again, Liam Reddy, come out with a great save.
Hopefully the boys will be buying a beer at the end of this game, because he has very much kept them in this match at the halfway stage. Wellington Phoenix with the most of the possession, 56-44, Harry. A fairly even match in terms of ball. The two key standouts, though, 10 shots for the Wellington Phoenix on goal and 16 balls into the penalty area.
Yeah, it's been, hasn't been a dull affair. I mean, I know a lot of finals can be pretty much a stalemate for a lot of the game, but it's been a relatively open match. I mean, they've had 15 shots on goal in total in the first 45, and it's a great game for the fans.
As you can see for the Wellington Phoenix, our graphics boys have been busy. They've had to plot a lot of shots on the Wellington shot chart. The Newcastle Jets, when it comes to conversion, they've done fantastic, Harry, because they've only had just a handful, 4 or 5. As we saw, that green one is Tarek Elrich's save from Liam Reedy, and the yellow one is the goal. So Newcastle, in terms of conversion, doing very, very well for them. The Wellington Phoenix, they will be happy with how they have attacked the Newcastle Jets. They've just got to shore up that defence on the counter.
Yeah, I think just a bit more patience going forward. I think their final ball in areas hasn't been is what we've come used to the Phoenix and those sort of areas. I mean, they've had good crosses. Lockheed and Harefield on either side have got down to the line and got good crosses in. On the other side, Thompson's got in good areas, and they've had obviously Elrich could have been 2-1 up.
The Wellington Phoenix scoring opportunity, it came through Paul Eiffel. The ball sent out to him, an incredible amount of work from Paul Eiffel. He worked and pretty much delivered, and he is a tireless worker at the front there, just like Chris Greenacre is.
He is, and you can see him every time he gets the ball on this left-hand side, he just likes to chop back on his right foot. But he has been in the thick of things for the Phoenix. It'd be nice to get him into a little bit more space here. He's just too strong for Song. This is unfortunate. His cross was a bit direct and easy work for Ben Kennedy.
Conversely, Matt Thompson, the Newcastle Jets, you could see the confidence in his pre-match interview. He is really displaying fantastic leadership on the park here, and tops that off with a great goal.
Oh, look, it's the guy's all class. I mean, this is his 8th goal of the season. He leads the line. I mean, he can play. We talked about his versatility before the game. He's in the midfield. He's at the back. He can play up front. He's a good distributor of the ball, good vision, good engine. I mean, he's a very complete player, Matty Thompson.
Yes, Newcastle will sorely miss him when he moves to Melbourne Hearts next year. He's just got this thing about him, Harry. I think people believe in him, they go with him, and if we look at the head-to-head between him and Paul Eiffel, just that goal pretty much separating them. But that is the difference between Matt Thompson and Paul Eiffel, is that Matt Thompson has put one in the back of the net, and really the hopes of Newcastle rest on his shoulders.
I think Newcastle have done very well. They've got Matty Thompson in good areas at times, and they've broken their transition, as you talked about. They've broken from deep. They've broken very well with pace. Ben Sigmund's got caught out a couple of times. Liam Reedy's had to come out quite early and gather the ball just inside his box. So they're looking for that ball over the top, looking for that ball along those slide passes into the likes of Abbas and Sean Rooney and up front. So it'll be interesting 45 minutes. So hopefully the tempo of the game increases. We obviously get more chances as well.
This is a game that you do not want to miss. Do not go make a cup of tea or anything, because it is fantastic. And if you do happen to miss it, don't worry. We've got the A-League highlights show Monday, 10 p.m. for you. And then Matt Thompson and a few of his Socceroo mates will be taking on 4 of these Wellington Phoenix players May the 24th, when Australia take on the All Whites at the MCG. They believe 75 to 90,000 people will be there, Harry. I've been to a game at the MCG. That crowd, when it's up around that 90 to 100,000 people, is just outstanding, and they want to farewell Australia off in style, those Aussies.
Yeah, they will. I think, and in turn, I think our guys will be leaving from a training camp in Auckland, so it'll be a chance for particularly on our side of the world, to farewell our guys, even though we're not playing at home. So, a big game for both clubs.
Harry, when you're looking at these two sides, how do you think the second half's going to play out?
Well, I think the Phoenix will come at them. I think they have to. I think they'd like to play out this 45 minutes and get 1 or 2 up. Newcastle will be catching them on the break. Will
it be heartbreak or delight for the Wellington Phoenix fans? Find out when we come back.
It's been the battle of the midfielders. Matty Thompson with his 8th of the season, opening the scoring against the run of play. But back came the Phoenix, courtesy of a couple of Paul Eiffel attempts. The cross, and Tim Brown driving it home. 1-1 at the break. It's the minor semi-final in the Hyundai A-League. All to play for in the next 45 minutes in brilliant sunshine here in Wellington, as it is Newcastle who will get the second half underway. No changes at the half-time break, and Fred de Jong, that's not a surprise. I would suggest both coaches will be reasonably happy with the way this has played out.
Yes, I think Branko Kalina would have been ecstatic the way his side soaked up the pressure and got themselves a lead. That would have been just the script that he would have played out in his mind, and equally so Ricki Herbert would have been very happy with the character that the Phoenix showed to get back into the game.
So Ricki Herbert's clocked up the air miles, Branko Kalina less so, but both, I'm sure, have spent hours in preparation for this one. As Leo Bertos not happy, Kandarowski collecting the ball, but Bertos felt he was collected a little as well. The Phoenix attacking their favoured yellow fever end of Westpac Stadium. Lockheed just invited to continue the run before Song dispossessed him. Well, Lockheed's battled away well. Eiffel running at Elrich. Elrich does well. But the Phoenix, as they did early in the first half, they collect a set-piece opportunity, chance for Leo Bertos to cause some havoc.
And again, Paul Eiffel doing well, starting out on the left flank for his side in the second half. And again, running at defenders, and another good opportunity for the Phoenix.
Bertos straight to the keeper, surely, and Kennedy does really well. He was under a fair degree of pressure there from Vince Leah.
And again, straight away, good distribution from the keeper as well, trying to get his side a quick counter-attack. So I think from the Newcastle side, it'll be just more of the same in the second spell. Soak up the pressure and try and catch the Phoenix unawares on the counter-attack. Conversely, for the Phoenix, it's just all about patience. I think if they could hold the ball, especially in and around the penalty area for Newcastle, I think they could win this game at a canter.
Kandarowski called into the sides. Labano Haliti making way. And that's not his best work. The throw going directly out of play. Certainly both sides, though, with real firepower available to them on the bench. If either Ricki Herbert or Branko Kalina should look to make changes. You've got the likes of Sasho Petrovski, 35 years of age. Scored goals at just about every level of the game. Labano Haliti I've mentioned. And for the Phoenix, well, take your pick. Daddy, Barbarousis, Daniel. You wouldn't want a centre-back to fall over, Fred.
Definitely not. Very thin on the ground, the Wellington Phoenix, as far as defenders go. And then with McCain out, if there was an injury to a back four player, you'd expect them to reshuffle and just drop a midfielder back and cover. Manny Muscat, probably the most likely contender.
It's not bad from Muscat, is it? Lockheed's control, let the pass down, really. They still have an attacking throw. Lockheed given some real latitude here. Checks back onto the weaker right foot. Bertos was lurking, still there, Brown. And again looking for Bertos. And it was Greenacre who tried to put some pressure on, but the keeper always a warm favourite.
Just two teasing crosses here from the Phoenix. Here's a second one from Tim Brown, just a bit loopy on it. And it gives the keeper the chance to make ground to the back post. But again, they're getting two bites at it when they're patient, the Phoenix.
Oh, lovely Eiffel. And the early cross, you could see the idea. Greenacre gives the thumbs up, even though he wasn't alert to it. Fred, you're suggesting just patience again here. Perhaps no need for the early delivery in that situation.
Well, I also think, as far as you've got Topor Stanley and Milicevic in the middle at the back, and yes, they're big guys, but they do get dragged out of position quite easily. And the longer you hold the ball, the more they'll get dragged out of that position, and that'll open up space.
The vision from Eiffel was anticipated by Kandarovski. And now a chance. Oh, the touch from Thompson, just too heavy for Rooney. Certainly not a lot of the game, though, being played in the middle third of the field. It is pretty rapid end-to-end stuff. Of course, both sides have made it this far in the competition by way of extra time and penalty shootouts. So that might at least have just eased any tension or nerves. We're a long way from that at the moment. I'm sure both sides, the preference would be to finish it off in normal time, if not extra time. Troy Harefield down a blind alley. They might get a result yet. Bertos is away from Wheelhouse. Bertos, Kandarovski. The young defender did enough. Still there for Leah. Paul Eiffel turns. Paul Eiffel, look at the speed off the mark for a big man. This is lovely build-up work again, and this is patient. Paul Eiffel, lovely challenge, Tarek Elrich.
Well, this is a good concerted attack from the Phoenix, isn't it? They've had three goes at it. This will be their fourth.
Leah does well in traffic too, so some good composure being shown in the opening stages. Eiffel, first touch just slowed him up. Lockhead, and Song does well. Paul Eiffel, though, Fred, even at this stage of his first season in the Hyundai A-League, it's almost as though at times the opposition are new to this guy. His speed off the mark, still catching players by surprise.
He's just got that little shimmy or the little flick with his shoulders that set the defenders back on their heels, and then he just takes off, as you say. Acceleration off the mark and awareness as well.
It's good vision here from Thompson. Ali Abbas looking for the favoured left foot, drives it across. Oh, how did Thompson not score? Well, he scored a great goal. That will go down as one of the misses of the season.
Eddie Thompson, all he had to do was hit it first time. Great work from Abbas. Thompson takes up a great position, and he's just trying to control that. That's good skills, good space, good pace as well from Abbas. And Thompson's just trying to walk that one into the net. Shake of the head there. He knows that was a golden opportunity to put his side ahead again.
Well, and it was Thompson's pass that set up Abbas and put the speedster, and he has got good pace into space. But will Matty Thompson rue that as Reddy gets out to collect the through ball?
Huge wake-up call for the Phoenix, that though. And again, they've had good possession down the other end, but Newcastle playing very, very well on the counter-attack, and they've got the pace to do it as well.
So Newcastle looks to me, Fred, as though they've perhaps changed shape a little here. Kandarovski sitting in a left fullback position, and perhaps a more traditional 4-4-2.
Yes, I think they're maybe a little more concerned about the flank play from the Wellington Phoenix.
And here's a good example of that. Bertos pulls it back, and Brown working. Well read though by Milicevic. And now Newcastle on the break. Even that pass will have too much on it for Abbas.
You see exactly what's in the mind of Newcastle. They know that Troy Harefield and Tony Lockhead love to go forward, and that time as well Troy Harefield got himself in a good forward position. Phoenix coughed up possession, and straight away Abbas was away and trying to fill the hole left by Harefield. So good tactical awareness by the Newcastle coaching staff.
They've got a few numbers forward here too. And the Phoenix a little slow to react. They have now Wheelhouse. Oh, and that's misdirected from Job Wheelhouse. So Branko Kalina, perhaps, as you say, Fred, just adjusting to what the Phoenix have thrown at his side. And Sigmund just a little nervy. The much talked about effects of travel. Remember, 4 of the starting lineup were in Pasadena in LA on Thursday night New Zealand time in front of 90,000 playing Mexico. Harefield wasn't one of them. Perhaps he's fresher. He's eventually run down towards the corner flag. Oh, lovely touch, Thompson. But let's credit Ben Sigmund because he's reacted just as quickly.
Again, Matty Thompson there filling the hole left by Troy Harefield. So as soon as the Phoenix are losing the ball in wide positions or in those positions, Newcastle is looking up, seeing which defender's gone forward. And the ball goes straight back into that hole.
Lockhead looking for Greenacre and finds him too. Too much width here at the moment, but that was a poor pass from Leah. Might not have had many options, but that really wasn't one of them.
You got him, Leo. You did your job. Well done.
I think that was the voice of Jonathan Gould there, applauding the tracking work of Leo Bertos. But Newcastle, this is good possession until that timely intervention from Lockhead. He could free up Paul Eiffel here. Eiffel around Milicevic with ease. Bertos, just one in front of Leo Bertos. Step over, step over. Kandarovski showed maturity far beyond his 18 years.
It's good defending from Kandarovski. Didn't buy into any of the dummies from Leo Bertos. His feet were flashing, but the defender held his ground and then forced Leo Bertos into a cross and then just blocks the cross.
So approaching the hour mark and still no changes for either side. Still deadlocked at 1-1. It's a good touch from Bertos, and again Greenacre, such a willing, tireless worker. The yellow fever behind the Phoenix, literally and figuratively. Bertos down to the byline. Kandarovski can't get there. Bertos, it's deep and they'll force a corner. Eiffel thinking of getting on with it, but they're going to set their stall out here, I think, the Phoenix, and send the likes of Durante forward. Well, it's usually about this time that Newcastle start conceding goals. And it's equally about the time that the Phoenix are likely to score them. Not with that sort of a delivery. That's better. There wasn't a great deal of movement. I think the cross might have deserved better.
Just like we saw in the first half with Vince Leah's cross. This one hit early from Leo Bertos. You see Chris Greenacre not really reacting. Andy Durante was never going to get there. It's too high for him. The number 9 could have looped towards the back post, made something of that.
Song just nestles the ball down for Tarek Elrich. Depuzo in the game. Well, it's a nice turn from Elrich. Muscat read it. The second touch letting the Newcastle fullback down. Eiffel strong. He's beaten 2 or 3 but needs an outlet. He has it in Leo Bertos. They're queuing up in the penalty area, eluding each and every black and yellow striped shirts. Sigmund does really well to keep the ball in play. Troy Harefield gets a touch, does he? The throw taken quickly. I'm not sure about where it was taken, but the officials say play on. No good crossing, Chris Greenacre, or is it? Oh dear, oh dear! Kennedy called into action, and it was almost an own goal to separate these two sides. Tarek Elrich can't believe the pressure. He's just put his keeper under.
Well, this is a great save. Not expecting that. A header like that from your own player. But Ben Kennedy does terrifically well here. Right in the top corner. Gets his left hand on it.
They might yet pay a price, of course. Bertos. It's better delivery. Eiffel lining up. Paul Eiffel. It'll be another corner, so the Phoenix starting to exert some real pressure.
Newcastle players really under the pump here. This time the ball out to Eiffel. Just takes his time, lines it up. And Topper Stanley clears the danger.
Listen to the crowd. Ron Bertos can't respond to it. Delivery at critical times, letting both sides down. Harefield. And they're getting in each other's road here. It's not a bad pass from Leah now. Lockhead rather nervously comes forward. Eiffel looking to win the free kick, nothing given. Give the crowd a whistle, you'd have had one. Brown, it's an interesting flick. Can Greenacre make something of it? Well, the best he can do is force a throw. And you just start to wonder now which of the two sides is the braver, as the ball has gone out of play. A goal kick for Newcastle. But in a sudden death game, we spoke about it pre-game, Fred, that this really is a cup final type atmosphere. It is winner take all. So who's got the courage, who's got the conviction of these two sides in the final half hour?
Yes, and it could come down to who doesn't make the mistake. I mean, we almost saw Tarek Elrich there put it in his own net. So the longer the game goes on like this, obviously the more the pressure builds. And the pressure will be on both sets of players, as you say, for someone to stand up and win the game for their side, or at least not lose it.
Wheelhouse, well defended by Ben Sigmund. Now Leah, is there a chance on the break? Newcastle close it down pretty quickly. It's good work by Vince Leah. Eiffel turns, runs. What a familiar sight that is. Brown with the touch. The flag stays down. Well, now the flag goes up very late in the piece. You wonder about the challenge on Tim Brown in all of this.
Well, the assistant referee just waiting for Chris Greenacre to touch the ball here, but it seemed like the flag took an age to go up. But as the law stands, that's what he has to do. Definite offside against Chris Greenacre. Nice touch from Tim Brown, though.
Kantarovski right in front of Daniel, who you can see is preparing to make his entrance. Tim Brown tries to win the throw, but that'll be it for Leo Bertos. So perhaps the game against Mexico and the subsequent travel for Leo Bertos has brought about this change, but it's a popular change nonetheless with club favourite Daniel. And is this tailor-made for the Brazilian come Kiwi, Fred?
Yes, Daniel will take up a position in the left midfield. And a player with terrific technical ability. And the Phoenix will be hoping that he can carry on the good work of Leo Bertos. Here he is.
First opportunity. And does he thread the needle for Greenacre? It's not bad. Looking for support. Oh, and it's gone behind Eiffel. Paul Eiffel on the left foot. Oh, just too far out in front of the winger. Always leaning back as he drove at that with the left foot.
Great work from Chris Greenacre. Sees his fellow countryman. Well, where he's come from anyway. Paul Eiffel just turns inside. And as you say, the ball just too far, stretching for it. Couldn't get his shot on target. But again, Paul Eiffel showing how easily he can go round players in and around the penalty area.
Yes, and I'm with you, Fred. It's still hard to call Paul Eiffel a Barbadian, but that's who he's played his international football for, and good luck to him. Not sure if I've just made that word up, by the way, Barbadian.
Barbadosian.
Here is the man in question, Paul Eiffel. Newcastle just standing off a little here. Eiffel at the second attempt brings Brown into play. That's clever from Tim Brown on the volley, Daniel! And Daniel exhorts the crowd onto greater heights, but Fred de Jong, it was less height required on the volley.
He's done so well, Daniel, here. He just waited and waited for the ball just to drop onto his left foot. Just ripped the ball over the bar. But again, a good move from the Phoenix. Certainly asking questions.
So the change made by Newcastle, so tit for tat in terms of the movement off the bench, with Pavlovic out there for Branko Kalina's side. And Rooney's day is done. Is his season done? Thompson showing good pace. And I'll tell you what, Herefield shows better patience. It's been a good battle, isn't it? The whole way through this game, the matchups right across the park. It's been a game worthy of a minor semi-final.
Well, it's been enthralling, hasn't it? The tactics employed by the Newcastle Jets versus what the Phoenix have brought to the table. As you say, Andrew, the one-on-one matchups across the park. And about 20 minutes to go, if not longer.
And of course, Sydney and Melbourne lying in wait, one of them anyway. The loser of that clash, the second leg, being played immediately following this game. The loser will play the winner of this. And later tonight we'll know which one of those two teams has booked a place in the grand final. Daniel onside. Drives it far post, Eiffel. Oh, you could see Eiffel just trying to drag it back away from Kantarovski. And no one making the run late. They'd all gone ahead of the cross. And Sigmund now under a little pressure. And that's a lovely touch. Thompson into the area. What a challenge. Andrew Durante. The skipper's intervention when it was most required. Still the Jets press. Tapuzzo. Abbas. Oh, he goes around Herefield. All too often, the crossing not matching the quality of the build-up play. And as if to make my point, Fred,
Because Newcastle have been terrific on the counter-attack, but as soon as the counter-attack is over and the Phoenix have got a number of players back, the impetus goes out of their attacks.
What a pass, Daniel. The crowd lift with the pass. Eiffel into the area, drives it across. I'm sure shooting at goal, just dragging it across in front of Ben Kennedy. But wonderful invention from the left foot of Daniel.
Yeah, great ball from Daniel. Eiffel goes past his man. Could have taken an extra touch there. Maybe set up as one of his teammates. And there's the tackle from Andrew Durante. He ran about 50 metres to make that tackle, because in the previous play he'd pushed right forward into the forward line. Terrific work from the skipper.
End-to-end stuff in the minor semi-final. We're into the final 20 minutes, or maybe, because we must find a winner here tonight. And if they do go to extra time and penalties, it will be early evening. Vince Leah, I've been impressed with Leah tonight. In fact, I think he's the unsung hero right through this, in particular the second half of the season, Fred.
Yes, I think the combination of Leah, Brown and Muscat in the middle of midfield for the Phoenix, the last sort of half of the season, you'd say, has been very, very solid. And Vince Leah, integral part of that. And I think what he's done well as well is started to get forward a lot more than we've seen him in in the first half of the season.
Newcastle enjoying a good spell here though, nonetheless. Abbas, Song. This time it's Daniel tracking back. Well, you know things are going well. No disrespect, but when Daniel's tracking back to make tackles.
He certainly looks up for it, doesn't he, Daniel? Just what you want from your sub though. Get involved in the game, make yourself effective.
Lockhead into the less favoured right foot. Any little movement out of the forward line at the moment. Everything's a little static. Harefield. It's a very good intervention from Abbas. Unlucky not to come away with the ball. So just a sense that both sides are just looking to regather for one final push. 17 minutes left in normal time. Manny Muscat rolls a pass. Brown. Newcastle clear the danger. Try and turn it to an attack of their own. And here's the second change now by this man, Ricki Herbert. He'll bark a few instructions, and this is a brave change. Troy Harefield at right fullback has done his dash. Eugene Daddy has an opportunity at a cameo, and that will result in a reshuffle, Fred, and I think you've already seen the effects of that, and I would assume Manny Muscat's headed back to right fullback.
Yes, Manny Muscat straight away just drops into right fullback.
Pavlovic meantime on the ball, the sub, but Durante far too clever in his defensive work.
Yes, and it is a brave move. It's a tired looking pass or miscontrol from the skipper. Brave move from Ricki Herbert, and see he wants to finish the game in regulation time. And credit Eugene Daddy, last game against Perth, his old club side. Did very well when he came on, was very strong on the ball. And played as an out-and-out target man for his teammates to run off.
Well, Daddy certainly won't want his last meaningful act in a Phoenix jersey to be that penalty. He's made such an impact at the club, and so much more than that often repeated incidents. And of course, winning goal would well and truly put that to bed. The yellow fever in full song. Can they bring their side home as they rise, they stand with 33,000 in attendance here at Westpac Stadium. How could you not want this in your league? How could you not want this week in, week out in your competition? Well, here's a chance now. Thompson onside and getting the right side of Sigmund. Sigmund having to scramble. Newcastle just for a moment, I thought, with appeals for a penalty, but that was one heck of a clash between Sigmund and Thompson.
Yes, a couple of times Sigmund has had to be very strong at the back. And both times it's almost, the Newcastle players almost got the better of him. That time it was Matty Thompson. And good work from Liam Reedy, came off his line quickly.
Oh, Sigmund in strong. And a handball, free kick taken quickly. The Phoenix want to get on with it, they want to win it in normal time. Greenacre from distance. Kennedy always had it covered.
Here's Ben Sigmund, Matty Thompson battling away, and then Thompson just in front of Liam Reedy. The keeper does very well.
And it's Ben Sigmund who's stayed down, not from that challenge, but it was the tackle, I think, on Ali Abbas. And he's back to his feet, so Ricki Herbert will be pleased with that. He'll be thrilled with the crowd as well. 32,792. Well, on the back of 20,000 in Christchurch and 25,000 here a couple of weeks ago. I think the Hyundai A-League is well and truly in Wellington, and you would hope for it here to stay.
Yes, the Phoenix looking for a 10-year licence. Going through the administrative.
It's a good throw from Daddy. Sorry, Fred. Just for a moment there, looked as though Daniel might have opened out on the left foot. Eiffel, and it's a dangerous cross to have break down, because now Newcastle can break. And it's a good ball for Thompson. Durante. That's good composure. That's not.
Again, the Phoenix players guilty of inaccuracy in their passing. And that time Matty Muscat decided to go square. Paul Eiffel had just an acre of space in front of him. And good work from Vince Leah. He's worked very, very hard, as he always does.
Yes, there's almost a helter-skelter element to this, as I think both sides, I posed the question earlier, does either want to win it? And I think perhaps the answer is they both do. In normal time, Eiffel, that drag down to the byline, keeps it in play, near post. It's some tied legs as well out there. Ali Abbas now on the charge. Tim Brown, look at the work rate of Brown. Pavlovic can't control.
And again, Vince Leah does well to win the ball for his team. Now Lockheed on the overlap.
Daniel eventually does use the fullback. Well, Lockheed's onto the right foot, looking to get back onto the left. Tarek Elrich, though, that's well played. And play on, says the referee. No, he goes back now for the late challenge. Again, good officiating.
Here's Tony Lockheed coming in late, trying to get his left foot sort of bent around Tarek Elrich's legs.
Yes, it's amazing at times how one-footed players can be, because that clearly wasn't the right decision to use the left foot from that side of the player. We're going to see a change. Newcastle. Labano Haliti. And this is a similar bold move, this time from Newcastle, because out of midfield comes Song. Talk that he will try his luck in Europe next season, and Labano Haliti is on for the final 10 minutes plus change, and there could be a fair bit of that, of course, if we go to extra time. Haliti with 5 goals this season so far. cannoning off Pavlovic there, according to the referee's assistant, so the Phoenix have the throw. Abbas. Well, they'll let him run, they'll let him shoot, he does. Just a dangerous moment or two there as the Phoenix backed off. Strength again from Paul Eiffel and vision. Muscat getting forward from his new and yet customary fullback role, and now it breaks down. Kandarovski, the flag goes up. Well, Branko Kalina got up off the bench as well, because he was right in line with that, and the Newcastle bench are adamant that this was onside.
Well, I think the assistant got it exactly right. I think Pavlovic was about a metre offside.
Daniel pinches possession. Brown, the touches are getting a little lazy, aren't they? Daniel, well cleared. Look at the numbers now for Newcastle. Abbas. He just runs straight at Manny Muscat. You sense there's a goal here. You do sense that there's a twist in this yet. And Eiffel forces the corner. A very good last-ditch challenge from Kandarovski.
Yes, he only just got it with his toe, didn't he, Kandarovski? It was a vital interception there, because Eiffel was away.
Look at this crowd. They have been superb all season. The delivery from Daniel, and again, Newcastle caused themselves a few problems off one of their own defenders. This time it was Wheelhouse. Daniel goes across to take. Now you watch, surely he's going to get the crowd more involved. Daddy waits. Daniel delivers. Eiffel on the edge of the area. Paul Eiffel drives, doesn't get past the first line of defence. And the stadium goes a little quiet, and Liam Reddy sets up another Phoenix attack, perhaps. It's a clever touch from Eugene Daddy.
Good work from Eugene Daddy, just taking the load off some of the midfielders.
Oh, Lockheed ran himself into trouble as he ran his side into a spot of bother. Pavlovic, Thompson's making ground in the middle of the park. Pavlovic may not need him. Cutting across, and Durante, as he has done not just today, but all season. Last line of defence, and he's one of the best in the league. Daniel to Eiffel. Can't bring it down. Eiffel, Paul Eiffel squares across, can't get it through to Daddy. Still there, a chance over the bar.
You would have put your money on Paul Eiffel finding a teammate in this situation. Just walks past his defender, slides the ball across, but there's only Topple Stanley there. And eventually the ball over the top from Eugene Daddy. But again, Paul Eiffel, and credit the pass from Daniel. Inch perfect from one side to the other.
Branko Kalina will just perhaps try and take the sting out of this yet further. Sasho Petrovski, veteran striker, will get out there, and I wonder, I'm going to assume that this is perhaps injury related. Matty Thompson doesn't look too healthy, applauding the crowd, and perhaps the crowd not totally aware that this could well be the last time that we'll see Matty Thompson in a Newcastle Jets strip. The next 5 minutes, perhaps the next 35 might tell that story. The Phoenix looking like they might finish the stronger though. Topple Stanley. Muscat wins the header. Oh, it's a lovely touch, Tim Brown. Oh, Daddy's bundled over. Chris Beath says that was of your own accord. Here's Petrovski. What an intervention this would be from Petrovski. And, well, need I say more? Don't expect anything less now, do we, from Durante?
Yes, again, the man in the armband for the Wellington Phoenix comes up trumps. Branko Kalina, I think he'll actually be reasonably happy with the fact that his side are still in this contest with 5 minutes to go.
Ali Abbas pinches ground, and the referee turns his back. He pinches it again. Crowd don't miss a trick, do they? Abbas, oh, that's poor. And it was pretty tight as well from Joe Wheelhouse. And Muscat just content there to deliver long into the Jets' defensive third. Daniel wins it. Well, that's superb from Daniel. The outside of the left foot. Lockhead looking for Daniel in the area. The Phoenix have got to be careful. They are pressing very high up the park. They could be caught on the counter. Here's Eiffel. Eiffel straight through the middle of two, and down he goes, Paul Eiffel. Well, I thought Eiffel was clearing away. We spoke early in the game about players going down very early, very easily. It's a yellow card for Abbas. But I wonder here, Fred, could Paul Eiffel have kept going?
Well, it looked like it, didn't it? It looked like he was past the two defenders. It was a great move. He just put the ball between them and took off. Just as you thought he was away, he just got clipped there. And it's a good decision from the referee to pull it back outside the box.
Yeah, certainly the free kicks given for the initial contact, but I still felt that Eiffel may well have continued on. Daniel, dangerous situation, dangerous ball, well defended, and a corner results. Oh, Daniel has been a spark, hasn't he?
Daniel delivers, and then the ball just flicked out for the corner, just off the head of Andrew Durante.
Another set piece into the closing seconds of this one. Newcastle get it clear. Stunning, the delivery from Muscat. Daniel on the right foot this time. Daddy, Topper Stanley. Wave after wave, it seems, of Phoenix attack. And Newcastle sitting back, they're just holding on. Now they can break. Abbas, Brown making good yards. Here they come, Abbas. Danger time for the Phoenix. It's not bad, a chance for Pavlovic on the right foot, over the bar.
Well, what an opportunity for Newcastle. Liam Reddy just having a real go at his defence. They were trying to get back, but Newcastle were too quick for them. Pavlovic opened up a shooting angle, leaning back. Can't get his shot on target, but that's the danger for the Phoenix. They've had all the pressure on the other end, but Newcastle, as they've shown all afternoon, can break very, very quickly.
Yes, he never looked comfortable on the ball, did he, Pavlovic? And perhaps it needed to fall to the more experienced player, the likes of Petrovski. 4 minutes of time to be added on. 4 minutes to find a winner for either side. You would think surely no time now for a response if either was to score. We could be headed for yet more drama. Just a fortnight ago, 30 minutes of extra time and penalties against Perth, and for Newcastle it was the same script against Gold Coast. I am in something of a state of disbelief that we haven't had a second goal for either side in this second half, and that's poor. That's tired from Leah.
It's also put his team under pressure because a number of them had gone forward. Good chance here.
Flag goes up, offside. Wouldn't have counted. And they've got underway very quickly. The crowd urging the Phoenix home. Paul Eiffel. It's a rare occasion where Paul Eiffel chooses not to take his marker on. And you sense that extra time, if we get that far, is really going to open up because there are tired players on both sides.
You see from Paul Eiffel there, a very, very tired cross. Didn't really have the energy to take his player on. We saw against Perth players cramping up all over the park. It's been a warm afternoon, so you can expect more of the same if this does go to extra time. And then all the travel that the Phoenix players have had may come into play.
Albeit one of those players, of course, Fred Leo Bertos, is already sat on the bench. He can do no more. Two minutes, plus perhaps a little change to be played in normal time. Daddy working hard. Has he worked hard enough? No. Tapuzzo. And the flag will go up again. It's a dangerous game to play, but so far they've got it about right, the Phoenix back four. Daddy looking to get on the end of this, and eventually it finds green pastures.
Well, Kennedy had come and he stopped and went back into his goal. Eugene Daddy had just spun.
Nalia Bass, I've been impressed with this young player, the work, the incisive runs. Perhaps just the final pass for it let him down on a couple of occasions. Greenacre, chance now, Eiffel, Paul Eiffel to win it for the Phoenix. Yes. Paul Eiffel, he's gone too far. Oh, what a moment! What a moment in this minor semi-final. Still the ball in play. Daniel one way, then the other. And now Newcastle, Pavlovic, Sigmund across to cover. Well, it was like everything went into slow motion. The crowd, everyone just waiting for Paul Eiffel to tap home. But Fred de Jong, the first touch was too heavy.
The header goes by and then he goes past the keeper, but the touch there, too heavy, takes him too wide, and then the chance was lost. Just sitting up beautifully for this man, Paul Eiffel. Couldn't make it count.
Well, drama here at Westpac Stadium. And the fans in this stadium, the vast majority of them, are still coming to terms, as is this man, with not so much a miss because he never quite got himself a shot on goal. But we've had chances for both sides, but they can't be separated. Matty Thompson's opener, he's now left the park, so he can do no more. Cancelled out by Tim Brown, so the two midfielders, 8 goals apiece for Thompson and Brown. They're the only scorers so far in this game, but it's not Fred de Jong as though it's been a second half without opportunity, without chances for both sides, and that just summed it up with Eiffel's near miss at the end.
As you say, it's been near misses all round. Looking at the goals again, Matty Thompson, clinical finish with his left foot. Just drills that one past Liam Reddy, catching the Phoenix back four, a bit flat-footed in the first half. And then after a couple of bites, Paul Eiffel sets up Tim Brown, and he just lashes that one home, also with his left foot. As we've said, 8 goals apiece for those two this season. But the second half, yes, it's been a series of near misses. The best one, the last one for Paul Eiffel. But contrasting tactics, and Newcastle, under this man, Branko Kalina, have done it very, very well. They've played the counter-attacking football all afternoon, and on numerous occasions they've caught the Phoenix players, sort of caught the back four out as they've pushed forward, but they just haven't been able to make it pay off in the second spell.
So the fans are getting more than they bargained for. Perhaps not in terms of entertainment, because they expect and usually get plenty here at Westpac Stadium, but they're going to get more than they expected this afternoon with regards time spent watching, that's for sure. So we go to a 30-minute spell of extra time, and that man, he was a hero a fortnight back in the penalty shootout. He's not really had a great deal to do when he's been called into action. He's saved well. In particular, you think of that one-on-one with Tarek Elrich, where he stood his ground, Liam Reddy. So let's have a look-see at the way that this has played out on the stat sheet this afternoon. Most important stat, of course, is that 1-1 scoreline, but the Wellington Phoenix, there's an indication that they've dominated in waves almost, haven't they, Fred? Newcastle have had their moments, but by and large it's been about the Phoenix.
Yeah, the Phoenix, they've had more of the ball, and they've had more of the ball in the opposition area. You can see there, shots on goal, dominating that statistic as well. And here's Paul Eiffel, his last chance, heads it inside, could have shot there, decided to go around the keeper, and his touch let him down. And then numbers got back, and that's the difference between scoring and not scoring. Just that delicate touch that he needed to go past Kennedy, and roll it into the net. Just couldn't bring it to the fore at the crucial moment, Paul Eiffel.
Come on, the Phoenix, say the fans. The umbrellas are out, not because of rain, but because of this sunshine that still bathes the yellow fever and the 32,000 plus fans that have come out in support of this minor league semi-final. So Melbourne and Sydney will be watching this, possibly with a smile on faces, because this is just taking yet more out of these two sides, albeit they have both enjoyed a week off last weekend with the international window. Chris Beat conducts the toss. We go through the handshake ritual again. Lubo Milicevic and Andrew Durante. Well, can't shake this yellow fever. Can't shake the Newcastle Jets at the moment, the Wellington Phoenix. Ricki Herbert does the fairy tale, does this roller coaster ride that he's been on with New Zealand football generally over the past 12 months. Does it have another highlight left in it? Sasho Petrovski, he's fresh, he's just been on there 5 minutes. So too has Daddy, albeit a little longer. So it comes down to fitness, comes down to desire, it comes down to commitment, all of those things, Fred. It's the cliche, who wants it most at this stage of a game, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it's down to ticker, isn't it? At this point, everyone's tired, apart from the subs. And I think it comes down to the ticker and also the people who can think when they're tired. The players that have that ability to just take a breath at the crucial moment. The likes of Paul Eiffel, Sasho Petrovski. That's what Newcastle will be hoping from him. This man, Milicevic. And that guy, Durante, as well.
Straight to his counterpart. So they were just shaking hands moments before. Of course, Durante's been there, done that with the very team he's playing against today. Wins the free kick. It's almost a request for a free kick. Play underway quickly. Eiffel running at Kantarowski. Eiffel, does he score? Off the post!
What does he have to do to score?
Well, he's asking just that question, and he's asking of a higher source than you or I, Fred, because that looked goal bounds. But here come Newcastle. Pavlovic turns away from supports and eventually into trouble. Here comes Daniel. Daddy. Greenacre pushed wide. Looking to find Eugene. Daddy was lurking, wasn't he? Paul Eiffel, can he find room for the shot? Still might get there. No. It's a good strong foot from Milicevic.
It's a good tackle from Milicevic. Now Abbas. It's not a great pass from him.
And Tony Lockwood will gladly just shepherd this one out. But wow, what a start, Fred, to extra time.
Paul Eiffel again rips the ball into the base of the post. And a few minutes later has another go, another little dab, trying to go past 3 and 4 players in the box. Milicevic standing strong. Again for the Phoenix, isolating Paul Eiffel one-on-one with his defender. Is a real route for success.
Yes, well, even the rebound on that replay, it was so close to the outstretched leg of Eugene Daddy. Oh, here's Petrovski making space. Sasha Petrovski, Pavlovic offside, the flag goes up, and I think Petrovski a little frustrated here, saying to his teammate, get out of the road because I'm onside, I'm carrying the ball.
Yes, poor run from Pavlovic, because not only does he drag himself in the line of fire, he drags another defender. And Sasha Petrovski had done all the hard work and he was in on goal.
It was pretty clear, wasn't it, from Chris Beath? In response to Eugene Daddy's request for a free kick. This is a very impressive build-up play. Daniel didn't shoot. Eiffel on the volley. Oh, he did too much, Paul Eiffel. It's just not falling for one of the best in a Phoenix jersey this season. Driven back across goal, and it still won't trouble Ben Kennedy, let alone find the back of the nets.
Phoenix have to be careful here. They committed 6 players into that attack. Now Newcastle coming back.
Pavlovic going around Durante. That's a rarity. And again, and the skipper's given a free kick away, and that's impressive work by the Newcastle sub.
Couple of great chances for the Phoenix in here. Eiffel had the volley, had to take it first time. And Manny Muscat just drilled this one, goes to Daddy, and then is just trying to drop it back down to Paul Eiffel. This is good work from Pavlovic. Gets the better of Durante, one of the rare occasions, and a definite free kick.
So Abbas. Nervous looks from the bench. But they shouldn't be nervous at the moment. It's Newcastle on attack. Milicevic, top of Stanley there. Abbas pulls it back on the volley. And Liam Reddy always having that one under control.
So the free kick just behind all the strikers here. I think it was Labano Haliti there, just having to reach back for the volley. Really difficult to generate any power. And you're having to lean back like that.
Here come Newcastle. They're just able to resist, aren't they? These surges from the Phoenix. Tapuzzo will leave the throw, but that is an incredible statistic. The Phoenix totally dominating. Balls into the penalty area. Pre-match you might have guessed that, but not to that extent, Fred. Eiffel again posted up against Kantarovski. Kantarovski staying on his feet. Eiffel drives it into the defender. The crowd says handball. Eiffel knows better, but they win a corner. And again, the outlet, the danger, the threat comes from Paul Eiffel. There's another statistic well and truly in favour of the home side. Manuriwa supports the Phoenix, says the sign. Daniel delivers. Oh, and Kennedy doesn't get there. No free kick given. Daniel with another chance, drives it in low. Eiffel, first touch, not good enough, and now Newcastle can break. Well, Daniel it is who's collected Abbas from behind. He's one to watch for the future as Ali Abbas. Just for the moment struggling with a little cramp.
Good free kick to concede that one from Daniel on halfway. There's Ali Abbas, when he's had the ball and he's been able to run at the Phoenix players, he's looked very, very good. Good pace. Nice sort of darting technique he's got.
Goes over the top and too far over the top. Lockheed might not let this go. Chooses the safer route there and gives the throw away, but
lovely touch from Paul Eiffel. Pulls it down, drags it between his legs. Unfortunately, he was out.
Well, the substitutes really need to get involved, don't they, from both sides? And here's one of them, Pavlovic. Pavlovic past Durante. Oh, Durante says, I didn't touch him. Durante's pretty adamant here, Fred. The replay will tell the story. Clearly, Chris Beath felt otherwise because the yellow card has been shown to the Phoenix skipper.
Andy Durante just sticks a leg out there. Well, if you're going to put your leg out, then you take your chances. And this time Chris Beath says he caught him. But Pavlovic, he went down pretty easy. But then, you know, you're in extra time of a semi-final. So any advantage you can get, you take.
Yeah, an invitation like that, you're bound to get an RSVP, aren't you? And Pavlovic certainly came to the party. You can't blame the striker for that. So Abbas, don't know that he possesses necessarily the power from this range. I'm picking this will be far post. There he goes. Who's the targets? Misses everyone, and there's a bit of push and shove going on, so the Phoenix have a defensive free kick anyway.
A bit of pushing at the back by Sasho Petrovski. Just relieves the pressure valve a little bit, doesn't it? Just the whole crowd on tenterhooks whenever the Phoenix are under a bit of pressure.
Daddy doing battle with Topple Stanley. That's a more even physical clash, isn't it? And Daddy wins the free kick. So it's tit for tat. And a chance now for Daniel as referee Chris Beath says very clearly, this is my whistle. And wait until I blow it. So Daniel will do that. Listen to the crowd. They may not hear the whistle. Daniel, far post ball. Durante just not able to get around the back of Tarek Elrich. Well, it's hardly surprising, Fred, in a way, when you look back at the season, both here and in Australia. There have been so many highs, so many flashpoints in the game. Hardly surprising that we've been dished up an extra 30 minutes here tonight.
I think it was always going to be quite tight, the game, and especially so after Newcastle scored first. I think it was important for their chances that they did that, and that's how it's been borne out.
Petrovski with some nice touches, and that's another one. Pavlovic Chance on the drive, off the post. So woodwork at either end, keeping this game at one apiece.
And this time it's Petrovski. This is a terrific strike. He's almost placed this into the corner. Just hits the outside of the post. I'm not sure that Liam Reddy would have got across to that one had it been going inside.
Yeah, it was a wonderful drive from Petrovski and deserved better.
And again, after good work from Pavlovic, he's working very hard for his team. Nice little nutmeg from Daniel.
Takes it quickly. Look at the vision from Daniel, the fresh legs, the fresh mind. Eiffel, I'm not sure that he's quite so fresh. Brown, Daddy on the drive, Daniel! Whoa, rattle the names off, they're all getting involved.
Ball played in by Eiffel. Comes out to Daddy, he can't get it under control. Drops to Daniel. Corner for the Phoenix.
Delivered by Daniel to the far post. Daniel left it on the drive. Eiffel still not cleared, now it is. And watch the blue shirts come forward. Musket across to try and marshal Petrovski, and did well. Lockhead, Daniel, what a substitution.
Oh, not a great option, that one.
Oh, what a moment to prove the commentator wrong too. It's always the way. Milicevic looked as they might have led with the arm. Not sure if we get another look at that, Fred, but as a striker, I'm sure you copped a few of those. It did look as though the big fella came through the back of Greenacre, but Greenacre's back up again. Milicevic struggling now.
Yeah, I think Chris Greenacre just leaving his foot in that time. As you do after someone's copped you on the back of the head.
You never did that, Fred.
The ball up, Chris Greenacre here. That's just a good strong challenge from Milicevic.
I can't believe the change in you since you retired. That's about the third time this season they've cancelled your subscription to the Strikers Union. Here's Eiffel. He does look tired now, doesn't he, Paul Eiffel? Emotionally, I think, as much as physically.
Now Vince Leah looks like he's struggling. Bit of cramp for Vince Leah. But yes, Paul Eiffel does look very, very tired now. And I think his role in the second period of extra time will be just stay up front as far forward as you can. And if you get the opportunity to run at your player, just that's all you've got to do. Forget about coming back, and maybe you might have to take a penalty later on as well.
Just about becomes the survival of the fittest, and that looks to me as though Diego is getting instructions, and that's the only change able to be made now in this game. I say the only change as in the Phoenix are the only side left to make a change. It could be Barbarouses, but that picture clearly showed that Diego was the one receiving instruction. Newcastle, they've cleared their decks already. Oh, that's tired from a player who's no excuse to be tired in Daddy. Vince Lee is back out there. It was just a battle with cramp. So 1 minute of time to be added on in this first half of extra time. Nice touch this time from Daddy. That's teasing as well. Topper Stanley with the interception.
Got a lovely cross on him, hasn't he, Daniel? Good example of that just then. Has that ability to drift the ball in behind defences.
Brown with numbers. Finds Eiffel. Eiffel against Kandarovski. Eiffel! Whoa, what a goal! Paul Eiffel! He might be tired, but he might just be a hero.
Well, he doesn't look tired now, does he, Paul Eiffel? Sprinted about 50 60, 70, 80 metres in celebration. I don't think his teammates are that happy, and no one's chasing him really. What a goal. 1-on-1 again. Goes outside this time and rips that into the far post. Good work from Tim Brown. Paul Eiffel beats his man. Ben Kennedy can only look.
Well, that is the mark of a quality player and a champion player, because there is no doubting that the tank is almost empty for Paul Eiffel as we reach half-time and extra time. But Paul Eiffel has set this stadium alight, and it changes the complexion of this game again, because now, mentally, physically, the Phoenix are just holding on. You expect now that they'll maybe play a little deeper, Fred, and Newcastle, well, they just throw caution to the wind for the final 15 minutes.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Newcastle have to bring something to the game now. For most of the game, they've sat back, soaked up the pressure, and tried to hit him on the counter-attack. Mate, that is not a good look. I'm sorry to say it, but that is not a good look.
That would throw anyone off their stride, Fred. That would throw anyone off their stride.
Go and give yourself an uppercut. As I was saying, Newcastle have to come forward now, and that'll open up opportunities for the Phoenix, especially for the likes of Paul Eiffel, because he's not going to come back anymore. So he can stay up front and maybe exploit those opportunities.
What about the shape? What about tactics now from Ricki Herbert? Does he change shape at all? Does he say to someone like Eugene Daddy, you've got fresh legs, drop back in front of the back four for me? Do they do anything as drastic as that?
I don't think they do. I think for the Phoenix, it's a matter of the formation will stay the same, but what they will try and do is lift the intensity, especially for the first 5 or 6 minutes of this 15 minutes. If they can hold them out for 5 or so minutes, I think they'll have the game won.
A big call indeed, because this Hyundai A-League season has had so many twists and turns. And this crowd, well, they must just keep pinching themselves here in Wellington. When is the journey going to end? Well, Paul Eiffel may have extended it for yet another week. Newcastle, though, they've been good value, and they won't stop, you know that. Here's Petrovsky. Oh, just about going back the opposite way to the dive of Reddy.
So I think if we get a shot of this one behind, you'll see this one swerve in the air. Petrovsky on the left foot, opens up for him. Yes, you can see that. No spin on the ball, so you can see it dipping and weaving.
Now look at the change of pace. Ricki Herbert is saying no, don't slow it down, and I think Ricki Herbert's right. You've got to maintain intensity in this game, because to sit back and slow the pace of the game down is to invite Newcastle back into it.
Yes, it is all about intensity now, and the Phoenix, they have to lift things, even though it is so difficult when you're so tired.
Topple Stanley. Route 1 stuff from the big central defender. Sigmund Pavlovic has got the right side of him. Manny Muscat, how has he made the tackle? And Ben Sigmund, well, that is courage.
Branko Kalina up off his seat, just remonstrating with the referee. He's furious about that challenge.
Well, it might have paid off, because they very quickly won a free kick, and I'm not sure there was too much in this. It's you love to see it. He's such a passionate football man. This, without question, the coming of age in football in this country. We saw it with the All Whites. We're now seeing it with the club side. Deputso, that's dangerous. Topple Stanley and Durante, who else? That's taken a deflection, so it'll be a corner. And already, Fred, you get the sensation that it's all hands-on-deck stuff here for the Phoenix.
Well, it is, they're all back now. The Phoenix, they haven't left anyone up front. So they're just there to hang on.
Who are you, says the crowd. Well, Depuzzo is the player, and he delivers now. The Phoenix scramble. Can Daniel? No, he can't. So I was about to say, can he at least hold this up momentarily? And the final change is made. And it's not a surprise, because I think Vince Lee has run himself into the ground, not just here today, but perhaps throughout the season. Suffering from cramp earlier. Well, there's a little send-off as well. So Abbas, if that was a cricketer, they'd lose 60% of their match fee. But Diego's out there. Lockheed, Durante.
Chance for Daniel forward.
And it's a good ball too from Durante. Where does Daniel go? Corner flag, too early for that, surely. Far post ball is on. He goes near. Oh, Topper Stanley. Shaky sort of a clearance. Or the Phoenix, they don't know whether to attack or slow it down. Daddy on the left foot. Over the top goes Daddy. Still there for Eiffel. Tim Brown brave, but now it breaks for the Jets. Pavlovic away. Pavlovic one-on-one. Pavlovic surrounded now by Phoenix defenders. Gets a shot on goal and Reddy makes the save.
Well, the Phoenix almost paying for dilly-dallying at the other end. And eventually, Liam Reddy does very well to get down here quickly from Pavlovic. And luckily he doesn't get too strong a hand on it, because Sasha Petrovsky was standing right there ready for the tap-in.
10 minutes to play. Newcastle pressing as they will for the majority of that final 10 minutes. Depuzzo sends it back. Pavlovic over the head. It's still there. Desperation time for the Phoenix. Onside. Great challenge again. I think it's Diego. Or was it Eugene Daddy? It doesn't matter. The Phoenix have got it clear. Well, he's a big unit, isn't he, Fred? And in those situations, he's as good as another centre-back.
Well, you need him when you've got the likes of Topo Stanley and Milicevic up front as well. We saw against Perth, he came on at about 3 fantastic defensive headers. So it's not just what he's doing at the front that's important. They need him at the back as well.
Greenacre just about pinching it. Diego now.
Just hold it.
Daniel onside. Delivers early this time. And again, it's as good as a pass to set up a counter-attack, isn't it? Because here come Newcastle. Abbas. Well, I think he heard the footsteps, and Manny Muscat's going to get a card here. And Ali Abbas, I'm sure, heard the pitter-patter of the Maltese international.
He just made his decision a bit late. Manny Muscat here. Comes in. Definite free kick. Just takes out Abbas. Picks up the yellow card. No stranger to yellow cards as Manny Muscat.
Yes, all cards of a different colour for that matter. Discipline critical now. Kandarovski sends it into the Phoenix penalty area. Well, Daniel.
And again, Eugene Daddy with a great defensive header.
Look at the pass. The vision. Does Paul Eiffel run it in, or does Paul Eiffel go to the corner? Paul Eiffel, a third would kill it off. Eiffel squares it across goal. Well, they had players forward the Phoenix, but I'm not sure that any expected the pass from Eiffel in that situation. But fascinating, Fred, that in an attacking situation like that, the Phoenix have got 4 in the Jets penalty area.
Yes, and that was from a free kick. When they were defending a free kick, they've broken through Daniel. As you say, 4 have made the 80-metre run to get into the opposition penalty area.
7 minutes plus any stoppage time to play. Paul Eiffel's goal. Well, the misses looked as though they would be the biggest footnote to this one, but the right foot strike in the closing seconds of the first half of extra time at the moment is the goal that separates these two sides. Here comes Petrovski. Guess who?
Again, well read by Durante. Just left his man, came across, cleared the danger.
Another corner. Abbas. Well, how many times can the Phoenix clear their lines? Tapuzzo sends it back, looking for Pavlovic. Durante, break, now they can break. Daniel, he's got support in the middle of the park. The Phoenix with numbers, the crowd know it. The ball played across in front of goal. Diego, still there for the Phoenix. Squares it across. Danny has won it for the Phoenix. Eugene Daddy with the easiest goal that he'll score in his career, and yet one of the most important, and it's a goal that surely keeps the Phoenix Hyundai A-League dream alive.
And it was the three subs, Daniel, Daddy and Diego. Diego there, just rolling the ball across the face of goal. And Eugene Daddy, Johnny on the spot, into the roof of the net. But that all came from a quick counter-attack. Daddy it was who started it, flicked the ball onto Daniel. Daniel took it down the wing, found Diego. It was almost like the chance had gone. But Diego, good awareness, just found that man, Eugene Daddy. Phoenix are off to another match.
Well, you would think so. You would think so. But Newcastle, is there fight left in the Jets yet? They've got 4.5 minutes to score twice. Here come the Phoenix again. The crowd want more. Eiffel drags it. Eiffel drives it. Save Kennedy. And then scrambled away by Topol Stanley. This is incredible. The Phoenix 3-1 up in a sudden death semi-final and pushing players forward like you think they're desperate to get back into a game.
I'm not sure Ricki Herbert is telling them to go forward anymore. But it's working at the moment.
Diego tries too much. Wheelhouse. Here come the Jets. Petrovski wider than he'd like to be, and he's forced deeper as well than he'd like to be. Kantarovski is the outlet. Too much on the pass, and Liam Reddy will soak up a few more valuable seconds. Manny Muscat. Oh, Daddy. Gone past Kantarovski. Oh, and he tried to win a penalty. It was a very well-timed challenge from Kantarovski. But Fred, you could see the thought process of Daddy.
He was just waiting, wasn't he? Trying to draw Kantarovski in and just flick the ball over him and try and win the penalty. It was a great challenge from Kantarovski.
So the Phoenix are the side forcing in the closing stages. And with 2 minutes to play, it looks very much as though they've stayed alive for another week in the Hyundai A-League, and the frustration now threatening to boil over. And it's...
Well, the Phoenix have to be... Just don't be stupid here. They've got another game next week. They've already got one guy been sent off last weekend, John McCain. And they want a full team to choose from next weekend. So Paul Eiffel just has to calm down, take it easy, take a deep breath, and do what he does best.
Well, Daniel may be shaping as though he's about to play this in when he doesn't. I was about to say. But they'll just play this short, take up a few more valuable seconds. Eiffel. Well, the quick feet are not good enough to elude Tarek Elrich. And you start to think now that the Phoenix dreams of not only further progressing but winning this Hyundai A-League, they have to be a very genuine threat now. In Sydney or Melbourne, it will be an away game for the Phoenix, so they'll leave this fortress of a stadium. But they've got match winners, Fred, right across the park it seems, and they've got a very resolute back four as well. Lovely work by Daniel. Diego, surely not a fourth. It's another corner.
For sure they can go all the way. I think the team that loses this afternoon in Australia won't be looking forward to entertaining the Phoenix, that's for sure. Because they're a very, very difficult side to play against. And the Phoenix have been on such a good run recently. They've been scoring goals. And there's nothing to say that they won't do that next week as well.
So we're into time added on in extra time. The crowd will start the whistles, but the one they need is the one they've just heard. Chris Beath calls full time in extra time, and the Wellington Phoenix, their wonderful journey in the Hyundai A-League continues. They receive the adulation of the crowd, as well they might. The two sides embrace, and it's been a match fought in a great spirit, Fred. So to both sides, huge credit. But as we said in the pre-match, there is no prize for finishing second here in Wellington tonight.
Well, I thought Newcastle were excellent. I mean, they only just snuck into the playoffs, but they've done very, very well during the playoffs. Had a good game, obviously, against the Gold Coast United. And they've done very, very well here this afternoon as well. Tactics were almost spot on.
Let's go down to hear from the skipper, one of the heroes, one of many in this Wellington Phoenix side, Andrew Durante.
Well, Dura, you were there 2 years ago as a Jets player. You're one game away from the grand final now. How are the legs holding up after that one?
Yeah, I'm a little bit tired after that one. You know, we seem to be doing it the hard way, but, you know, we're doing it, and this is just amazing. You know, I'm speechless at the moment. This crowd was awesome. We really needed it tonight. You know, like I said, we did it the hard way, and, you know, they helped us get over the line.
They really pushed you to the limit tonight, the Jets. The Branko Kalina's side has had a fantastic run. You know what it's all about. But your players dug deep, didn't they, tonight? They never gave up.
Mate, we had such a hard week, you know, with the Kiwi boys away with international duty, you know, me and John McCain away, and it was a little bit disruptive and, you know, not what you want going into a semi-final, but, you know, we showed no signs of, you know, not wanting to win, and, you know, we gave it everything. It went to extra time, and, you know, like I said, the crowd just gave us another level, and it's just a great feeling.
What about this? Do you think Terry could dig into his pockets and charter a couple of planes, get half of this lot across the Tasman next week?
Mate, it'll be magic. You know, if as many of you guys can come over, we'd love it, mate. We need all your support. You guys have been fantastic all year, and we hope to see you next week.
Well done, mate. Go and enjoy the night.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys.
So Tony Pinata, the CEO. There is Terry Serapisos, the owner of the Phoenix. Chris Greenacre. I don't think anyone's fired tonight. They're fired up, I know that much. And the fans, well, they're delighted. So too, Paul Eiffel, after a couple of close shaves, he finally got that elusive goal.
Well, Paul, one was bound to go in tonight, wasn't it? You had a couple of good chances there. You never gave up.
Unbelievable. I just didn't think it was going to happen today. I mean, my shooting was all over the place. Every time I got in front of goal, I seemed to panic. I don't know what was wrong with me. So it was nice to get there in the end. Probably put away the hardest chance I had of the day, really. So fair play to the boys for digging in. We always seem to do it the hard way.
Did you believe tonight that the guys could carry on all the way? Because the Jets pushed it for the full 90 minutes and even extra time, didn't they?
Oh, I thought they were top draw. You know, they've really made it hard for us today. And big credit to the lads who've come back from the All Whites. You know, I'm absolutely shattered. I've got cramp in place. I didn't know you could get cramps, so they must be, you know, how they got through it, I don't know. It's testament to their fitness. So it's a great team effort, and we roll on for another week.
Well, you ran and ran all day. You're obviously Olympic towards the end of the game there. Another week of recovery, and then one game away from the grand final.
Yeah, I don't think anything will stop me from that the next week. Like you said, we've got 7 days to get over it, and a bit of rest and recuperation, I think, and we'll be ready to go for the next game.
Well, thanks for your time, mate. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So here are some of the Eiffel moments, some that he'll like to forget. But Fred, I guess the fact that they've won and the fact that Eiffel gets a crucial goal means that he can afford to look back at these with perhaps a wry smile.
Well, he's only inches away on a lot of these, isn't he? You saw the one against the post there. Could have gone either way. That one's the one that really counted. Put his side ahead. But for the Wellington Phoenix, he is their key attacking weapon. And I think they exploited him to good effect this afternoon.
Well, it's not only a number of the players who have clocked up the air miles, so too has Phoenix head coach and All Whites national team coach Ricki Herbert.
Well, Ricki, we've got to stop meeting like this, my friend. Big games, another big crowd. You must be so proud of the team tonight.
Oh, I'm so proud of a lot of people, H. I think it's just been a fantastic journey, and for all those doubters that didn't think we could mix international with club football, well, there you go. I thought the players were absolutely outstanding.
There was rumours around that you've only had 3 nights in your bed for the last 2 weeks. You probably won't be in bed till late one tonight.
No, I think we're going to enjoy this one. It's been a hell of a journey, and well done to the fans. I mean, 32,000, thanks very much. I mean, it's really appreciated.
How was the blood pressure later on in that game? Because the Jets, they never gave up, did they? Branko Kalina's side just ran and ran. Could have had a couple of good chances in the first half. Tarek Arich missed a one-on-one. How was the heart holding up?
Yeah, well, I thought we should have really had it sewn up, H. I think we had some real good chances today, but it's finals football. It's exciting, and the fans have got a little bit extra time tonight, which is great. I mean, it's been a hell of a year. I've been through a lot of these now, and a lot of belief in this team, mate. They'll always go the journey for you.
Well, best of luck next week. I'm sure everyone else in the country tonight will be wishing you all the best.
Thanks, Harry. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So Ricki Herbert very proud, and this is why.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.